Hi, this is Mrs. M with the Janitorial Spot. Today I am going to go step by step on the best way to start a cleaning business. So let's get started. The very first thing you want to do is write down why you want to start a janitorial cleaning business. And I always say, so let's say the first reason is why I want to be my own boss. And then you would ask, why do you want to be your own boss? Because I like being in control. Why do you like being in control? Because I feel that is the only way I'm going to be able to control my future and my children's future. I suggest that you go down at least 7 whys. Why? 7 times. When you go to the 7th why, it really gets to the meat of why you want to have a business. And why is this important? Because when it gets tough, you'll be able to pull out that piece of paper on why you wanted to start a cleaning business in the beginning, which will help you go through the tough times that are always present when you're trying to do something that most people can't do, and that's start and actually grow a successful business, especially a service business over a product. The second thing you want to do is you then want to make sure that you have the business structure that you're interested in, whether you do sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, or C Corp. I just don't suggest a sole proprietor. A sole proprietor leaves too many areas that you're vulnerable and that you are responsible for. So check out the business structure. There's an LLC, an S Corp, a C Corp, a sole proprietor, and a partnership. But check out the business structures to see which one fits you currently and in the future. The next step I would talk about would be to write out the goals. We've got our whys, but now you want to write out what the goal is. What is the reason, the end game for starting the business? Is it to scale the business to sell? Is it to leave to family? Is it for income? But you want to truly understand what your goal is. So write out your business goal. The next step is then to find out what business license and insurance you need. So you've got your corporation, but then you've got your business license that you need and the state. So figure out what the license and permits are required in your area. Go ahead and do your research, call to find out what's required. If it's zoning, if you're going to do it out of your home, if you're going to do it mobile, but make sure you get all the requirements. Then you want to make sure that you get your EIN number. Now, you may want to get your EIN number first before you call or get the corporation. So you may want to go with your whys, your business goal, then your EIN number. When you're going with your why and your business goals, you also want to think of the name of your business. So now you've got your name of your business. And I always say, try not to name it something personal, like, Jack's Cleaning Services, because if you do want to sell the business, unless the person's name is Jack, or they really don't mind having Jack Business, Cleaning Services, then name it something personal. But I would suggest you name something and check and see how many. There are a lot of quality cleaners and, clean, fresh. So try to make it unique and different. So now that you've got your whys, your goal, your business name, you know what the business structure is, and you found out what the permits are, then you want to check on your business insurance. Workman's comp, I would say get at least $1 million in coverage. I'm sorry, not workman's comp, but general liability, make sure you get at least $1 million in coverage. That'll probably be about maybe $500-600 a year. You'll put a deposit and they normally let you pay like 9 months. And then you want to check on your workman's comp. Depending on what state you live in will depend on what the requirements are. I know in some states like Florida, if you have 4 or fewer employees, including yourself, you do not have to have workman's comp. The purpose of the workman's comp, that is, if your employees become hurt on the job, you are in a financial position to take care of their medical. That's why workman's comp insurance is important. General liability covers the building you're going to contract to clean and their employees. That's the difference. Some states require you to have vehicle insurance, but usually if you're not doing construction, you do not usually need vehicle insurance. The next step is to start to get your colors, what your theme is, your logo. That's the creative part of the business. You want to get all that together. And then you want to get and design a website. Design it yourself, pay someone to do your website, but you definitely want to have a website presence. The next thing you want to look at is if you're going to do the work yourself or you're going to hire someone. So you got to look at your training. Now, if you're starting out part-time and you want to do the work yourself, then you would simply look at getting uniform shirts, which I suggest, for yourself or for your employees that you're looking at hiring. But you definitely want to have uniform shirts. The next step is to make sure that you have your policies and procedures in place. Make sure you have your policies and procedures in place. That lets you know what employees you plan on hiring, what they can expect, and what you can expect from them. The other thing you want to make sure of is if you're going to have your employees, you want to do the W-9 for your EIN when you have your contract, but you want to make sure that you do the W-2 and the W-4s for your employees. So you want to make sure that you've got them registered. If you're looking at hiring someone, you want to get all items necessary to actually be an employer and have employees. So you want to call the state, check out what the hiring procedures are. Someplace you have to report within 20 days when you have a new hire. And that's so they can get the child support sometimes. So check that out because you will get in a load of trouble if you don't. So now you've got what's required for your employees, your policies and procedures. Now, how are you going to hire employees? Go through Craigslist, go through Indeed, Monsters. All of those should be free. Put an ad for an employee. Then you definitely want to have your interview questions. You can decide to interview them on the phone first. If they seem to do well over the phone, then go ahead and move to meeting in person at a Panera Bread, or if you're fortunate to have an office, meet them there. But make sure you have a screening process so you feel comfortable with this particular person. Once you know what the employees are, you've gotten your background checks done. You can do them online. They're maybe $15, $16, $20, but they're worth it. They usually do them within the state. If you want something national, it is a bit more expensive. But if you're in the state of Nebraska, then of course you can then see what the background is of that person. When you have your employees and you're ready to hire them, you've got your payroll taxes set up. You have to do that through the irs.gov, just like the same place you go to get your EIN number before you got started. You've gotten everything registered, your corporation with the state, the EIN number at the irs.gov. You've got your business name. You know exactly what the structure is going to be. You've got your payroll taxes set up, your unemployment taxes set up, which you are required to pay, the unemployment taxes. That's not taken out through the employee, that's through the employer. And that's a part of the payroll tax. So security, unemployment, and Medicaid are the items that are required to be taken out. But check with the IRS and make sure that's all set up, because you have to do like a 940. That's when you pay your unemployment tax at the end of the year, and then you do your 941s, which are the quarterly statements that you have to register with. If you hire a payroll company, they'll do all this for you, but it's not a challenge to do it on your own or get into it. Those software packages help out a lot. Now you're at the point where you know you want an employee. You're now looking at how do you get the business. I suggest that you ride around, write down some addresses, write down the address that you'd like to do the business, and then come back and make a list, send out direct mailers to them, or stop by and visit with them in person. If you're working full time, you may ask, how in the world am I going to do that? I suggest you take a vacation day or take a sick day. Shh, don't say I said that. But if your goal is to go ahead and get started, you got to start somewhere. So if you are busy Monday through Friday, you do not get off late or early, like 3:30 or 4, and you're only available, then you're definitely going to have to start somewhere. So you may have to only start on the weekends, and then make sure that, like I said, you drive out, find some physical locations, write the addresses down, and do some old-fashioned research. Come back and look in the yellow pages. You can get their phone numbers where you can make phone calls maybe on your lunch hour, or send out direct mailers. That is something that you can do directly with a letter stating that you want to do business with that company. A lot of times the smaller buildings have the decision maker inside of the building. So that's something that you want to do. Now, once you've obtained that first contract by doing your website, putting up your social media sites, making sure that your website has the mega tags ready to bring in potential customers. You're out doing your marketing, you're doing networking, you're doing meetups.com, you're doing the Chamber of Commerce. So now you get your first potential walkthrough. If you're working full time, you may have to take off a day to do your walkthrough. So try to make sure that you do 2 or 3 and try to schedule it towards the end of the day so you don't have to take off so many hours. When you get there, you want to make sure you have 2 business cards at least, arrive 15 minutes at least early, and have your game face on. Be confident, be poised, know that this is your contract you're going to get. Make sure that you've done your research on the company that you're going to do a walkthrough. Find out how long they've been in business. What is their main industry? What do they do? Get as much information as you can about the potential customer so they know you're interested when you do the walkthrough. When you do the walkthrough, go in, shake their head. They're usually going to walk you through, have your scope of work available to write down all the answers, all the questions you have, the bidding, how large the place is. This should be on your scope of work. All those details. How long have they been in business? Is it an old building, a new building? Are they going to have you do the supplies? Are they looking for you to do the supplies? All of that should be on your scope of work when you do the walkthrough. And none of it should be a surprise on what they're looking for. Now, you do have a decision to make. And the decision is, after you've done your walkthrough, you're not going to prepare the proposal, whatever you do there on the spot. Do not prepare the proposal on the spot. You want to take that back to the office and do it then. And then we will go into part 2 of preparing the proposal on our next video. Bye-bye.